Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Kassandra, and I'm going to take you through this all levels yoga flow, which will have a lot of twists. So there will be a few challenging poses and transitions that might be a little bit more intermediate in level, but honestly, I'll give you guys lots of options throughout so you can always modify to make it a little bit more beginner friendly. Twists are an amazing way to get your day started. They really help with your digestion, and I find they always just give me a nice boost of energy, which can be lovely to begin your day with. So no props required, and let's begin on hands and knees. We're going to do a circular form of cat and cow. Cat and cow are wonderful movements to increase flexibility throughout the spine. Instead of doing the traditional version where we just go forward and back, I want you to imagine you're tracing some circles with your tailbone and tracing some circles with the crown of your head. And try not to overthink this movement too much. The more you try to kind of think of the motion, I find the more confusing it starts to be. But we're really just trying to stretch all through the front, the back, and the sides of the waist. And you can bend a little bit through your elbows. Try to push into your fingertips and knuckles. Breathing in and out through your nose. And then you can reverse the direction of those circles. So we are passing through traditional cat and cow, but then adding some lateral flexion, some side bending as well. Take about one more circle this way. And we'll find our neutral tabletop pose on hands and knees, coming into thread the needle, our first big twist. Open arm twist. First, you're going to reach your right arm all the way up towards the sky. And as you exhale, thread that right arm underneath you to drop your shoulder and your ear down to the floor. I say the ear, but it's really more the temple that's making contact. As you do this, push a little bit more into your right hip. So notice if your hips are kind of sliding over to the left. Try to keep them in line, directly stacked over your knees. And you can keep your left hand maybe pushing down into the floor. I like to extend my arm up overhead, coming up onto fingertips. And I'm actively pushing my right arm, the back of that arm, into the ground. Drawing the lower belly in. See if you can feel this through your upper back, behind your shoulder blades. Relax your neck and your head. If your left arm was straight, bend the elbow, push into the floor. We'll go back into that open twist. So right fingertips re-extend up. Maybe there's a bit more motion this time. Right hand comes down. Second side, left arm reaches up, open through your chest. And exhale, thread it through shoulder and temple down to the mat. And again, notice the tendency for your hips to kind of lean to the right, push out into your left hip so that your weight stays centered. And maybe you straighten your right arm coming up onto your fingertips, actively pressing into the ground. And exhale, let's slide that right hand back into our open twist. Left fingertips extend up. And we'll release. Let's find our first downward facing dog. So you can walk your hands past your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips up and back. So this is probably your first downward dog of the day. So feel free to paddle out the legs, alternating as you bend one knee, straighten the other. Stretching through our calves into the hamstrings. At the same time, I'm really trying to push my chest towards my thighs, lengthening out through my arms. Relaxing the head, maybe shaking the head a little bit in this no motion. We'll walk our feet to the top of the mat, find your ragdoll fold. You can widen your feet as you come here so that they're more mat width distance apart. I like to grab a hold of the elbows, just swaying a little bit side to side. A little bit of a bend in the knees. And again, maybe turning the head, releasing tension from your jaw. If you are holding onto your elbows, release fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees even more and push into your heels to slowly come up to stand, inch by inch. Engage your core, draw the lower belly in. Head and shoulders are the last to make their way up. Standing at the top of the mat, we'll come into Vrikshasana, our tree pose. So standing on our right leg, we'll bring the left foot somewhere along the inside of that leg. External hip rotation. I'm trying to push my left knee open, drawing into the center. Hands maybe stay at the front of the heart, or you can expand and reach your arms up overhead. Notice if you're digging your toes into the mat, try to keep them light. Instead, find a foundation through all four corners of your right foot. We'll come into our chair pose from here. So hands at the heart, big toes together, heels slightly apart as you sink on down. You're welcome to hold here. So this is option 1. Option 2, you're going to add your twist in chair. Left elbow to your right knee. As you do this, look down. Notice if your left knee has crept forward past the right one, shift it back. And then push the elbow in towards the thigh to twist and rotate a little bit deeper. We're keeping our hips nice and low. And now look down at the floor to help with balance. Can you lean on your right foot? Pick up the left foot and we're going to send it back into our high lunge, staying in our prayer twist. Rolling that right shoulder back. Drawing the lower belly in. Coming into our easy twist from here, let your left hand come down to the mat, right arm up. Stacking right shoulder over the top of the left one. Big breath in here. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stretch it out. And you're welcome to hold where you are. If you'd like to take a vinyasa, we're going to inhale forward through our plank pose. We exhale to lower down. Bhujangasana, cobra pose, elbows are in. And we meet back, downward facing dog. Let's walk our feet to the top of the mat, ragdoll fold once more. You can bend into your knees, grab a hold of the elbows, sway a little side to side. Big stretch through the posterior chain, all the muscles along the back body. Release the hands down, bend your knees even more, push into your heels to roll all the way up to stand, tucking the tailbone under as you do this. And lifting up. Vrikshasana, our tree pose on the second side. So this time you're going to stabilize through this left leg, really lift up that hip, and you're going to place that right foot wherever feels appropriate to you for your balance this morning. Take your time and really focus on pushing the thigh into the foot. This helps, especially if you have very slippery pants. And you can choose the arm variation. Keeping your gaze still on something that is not moving will help a lot with your balance here. Hands will come together at the heart. We meet in our chair pose, big toes together, heels apart, sink the hips down, rock your weight back into your heels. Maybe you hold where you are, or you can add on with your twist. I'm gonna bring my right elbow to the top of my left thigh and left knee. I'm pushing the palms in towards one another to rotate, and I'm trying not to let my right knee go past the left one. So shift it back and keep your hips nice and low. And definitely the biggest challenge in this class now is going from here into our high lunge with this prayer twist. So lean onto that left leg. You can look down to help you out here. See if you can pick up that right foot and delicately step that right leg back, wiggle it back. Feet are hip width distance apart. Keeping the belly lifted off of that front thigh. And now easy twist, right hand down to the mat under your shoulder, left arm extends up. Big breath in here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe you choose to hold your downward dog, or you take your flow, inhaling to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra, or your upward facing dog. And we all meet back in our final downward dog. Pushing back through the heels, stretching out long through the arms, long through the legs, toning the navel back. And let's bring our knees down to the mat. Come to take a seat cross-legged. We'll take a little simple twist here. Sitting up nice and tall, roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. Let's bring our left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you. Open through your chest. So think of lengthening the crown of your head up towards the sky and pressing your shoulders down. And before we twist to the other side, stay facing over to the right and just walk your hands out to that side. At the same time, I'm trying to push into my left hip. So big stretch here through the side of the waist. Lifting back up. I'm going to change the cross of my legs just so I'm keeping things even. And we'll twist to the other side. Right hand to your left knee. Left hand behind you. Open the chest out. And stay facing over in this direction. Reach your hands out in front of you as you fold. And it's really tempting to lift that right hip off the mat as we do this. Try to keep it anchored down. Walking the hands in. And shrugging the shoulders, letting it go. Close your eyes, hands at the heart. Maybe setting your intention for the day by choosing one word that captures how you want to feel today or what matters to you right now. And we'll set this intention and close this practice together by chanting Om one time. So let's inhale to chant. Breathe in. Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this morning yoga practice with a lot of twists. I hope you feel really good in your body. I have hundreds of short morning yoga classes. I'll link to this playlist down below if you wanted to make this a daily habit. Please subscribe, and maybe we'll practice again together tomorrow morning.